Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners.
Goldylocks Productions presents the Live from Little Bear Sanctuary show with Christopher Vane. Enjoy topics such as the vegan lifestyle, sanctuary media highlights, and spotlighting new rescues.
Good evening, friends. Welcome to Live from Little Bear Sanctuary. I'm your host, Chris Vane. And if you're watching live on this Monday, November 29th, don't forget to sign in, say hello, like our show, subscribe. It's a great way to support Little Bear Sanctuary and all the shows on the Goldylocks Productions network. And if you've missed any of our shows, you know, we're on demand on Goldylocks Productions YouTube, Little Bear Sanctuary Facebook, and Rumble. We're now on Rumble. A couple of people are asking about Rumble. I believe it's the Canadian version of YouTube. It's a relatively new space. And so we're the video live feed to those three places, and we're voice to every major podcast site. Big day tomorrow, Giving Tuesday. It is no doubt the largest nonprofit fundraiser day of the year. And if you guys watched yesterday, we did a live from the Little Bear Sanctuary Facebook page. And we showed you guys the 4 piggies that we're bringing in from California. And I'll talk more about that later in the show. What else can I tell you guys? Day 29 of No Shave November. It's getting long. I got to tell you guys, I'm looking forward to shaving it off soon. So No Shave November. I've been talking about it every Monday. It's a month-long. It's a month-long journey where participants forego shaving your face, shaving your legs, your armpits, whatever you guys normally shave. And typically you would donate the money for what you save on shaving products to help with cancer awareness. A lot of different organizations involved, and I know the website is no-shave.org. Check it out. All right, guys. I'm going to bring on my guest today. She is a registered feline behavioral consultant, and she's the founder of The Cat Counselor, and she's joining us from Auckland, New Zealand. Welcome to the studio, Molly Kelsey.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hello.
How's it going?
It's good.
Yeah. So I know it's the afternoon there.
Yeah, 2 in the afternoon.
And the summer is upon you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher.
Is it? Yeah. You typically get crazy summers?
Not too bad, like too bad extremes, but for us, I think it's slowly getting warmer every year. It just feels like that to me. It feels like every year it's getting hotter. But
I think so too. Yeah, we're in Florida, so I can totally relate.
Oh, wow.
That. Yeah. We don't get to see the winter, so which is how I like it. But I know you like the winter, so it's always fun. So tell me about yourself. You live with your partner, 2 rats, and a dog named Alfred.
Yes. So I've got my Alfie's actually asleep next to me, and my 2 rats. I've had them for about a year. They're very cute, very polarizing pets. People either can't stand them or love them. So my friends are split evenly.
They're really smart.
Yeah, they're so smart. I've been starting to do clicker training with them, just doing little tricks like standing on their back legs and carrying things. So it's been fun. It's been a good way to exercise their brains. Then my partner, who I don't clicker train, but he doesn't think it's funny, but I thought it was funny. He works in conservation, so we're both sort of in a holistic sort of field.
Oh, nice. So tell me about what is a feline behavioral consultant?
So a feline behavioral consultant is a trained and certified professional who advises owners, rescues, and local organizations on the best way to mitigate and manage problem behaviors. We also do a lot of outreach in the community, managing like stray cat populations and helping with legislation regarding keeping cats indoors versus outdoors, and owner education just in a broader sense, like to the public.
Yeah, very cool. I know you've got a degree in feline behavior, and you're a veterinary nurse.
Yes, yeah. About 10 years ago, I qualified as a vet nurse.
Nice.
And so I did that for a little while, and then I moved into administration, and I decided I wanted to do a bit more to help. And yeah, here we are a few years later, fully trained, ready to go.
Nice. When did you start your business?
June of this year.
Yeah, oh wow,
so
it's relatively new.
It's a baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell people some of the stuff that you guys help with kitty issues. You're our first kitty expert on the show.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, how exciting. So I've been working on some house soiling issues, aggression towards owners and other pets, cats that wander, some cats with separation anxiety. In Auckland, we had lockdown for COVID for a few months, and people noticed their cats either weren't coping with them being home more, or it was the opposite. They didn't like them being home more.
Wow.
So I've had a few cases of dealing with that. And then just your common like over grooming, furniture damage, scratching furniture and things like that. A lot of things that are quite common. Most of us who've had cats deal with it at one time or another.
Oh yeah. I got 2 cats. I can definitely attest to that.
Yeah.
And I had a lot more. How do you feel about, because I'm always curious, in the States, it's a big issue right now, cat declawing.
Oh gosh, it is illegal in New Zealand. It's been illegal for a while.
It should be everywhere.
I totally agree. It's terrible. It's mutilating them. It's removing an essential part of their physiology that they need to live a happy and healthy life. And I think a lot of the demand for it comes just from people not understanding what their cats need, and they're not giving them appropriate means to go through with those behaviors like scratching and stretching. And they're not maintaining their claws with scratch pads or trimming the nails, so it becomes a problem purely based on a lack of education.
I was a vet tech for quite a few years, and it was one of the surgeries I would not be a part of.
That would be very hard to navigate. In the States, is it still legal in like certain states, or is it all over the country?
I know California was recently dealing with it. I believe it's now in the city of LA. It's illegal. It's got any change here is such a hassle, and so now I think it's like individual cities are starting to make the change first. Gosh, I hope it happens federally. That would really be amazing. I don't think a lot of people understand. It's like cutting off the first knuckle of each.
And it can be quite traumatic, and a lot of them end up with chronic pain, like phantom pain in their entire limb from it, which it's a nightmare. I can't imagine doing that to someone. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, really sad. And I know here in the States, a lot of the cats in shelters are typically from homes where they declawed the cat, and the cat is having issues now because they start to bite. And their back legs still can ruin your furniture. For those people who think the front clawing is not going to help, but hey, if you want a cat, you got to deal with it, right? I mean,
you've got to give them the appropriate means to be a cat. And there are easy ways to do that. So again, it just comes down to lack of education. And I think sometimes people will get cats that have already been declawed because they feel sorry for them. But the cat's already got a lot of trauma and issues associated with it. So it comes home, and then people aren't equipped to deal with it. So their hearts are in the right place. But
what are some things people can do who have a cat to avoid, the declaw situation? What do you recommend?
So we're talking about to avoid getting the procedure done?
Yeah,
Or
like, or just in general, what to do so they don't claw up your furniture and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. So there are a few key things you can do to reduce the risk of them damaging furniture. One is to provide more than one type of scratching surface. Most commonly, people have the vertical cat towers that is just a single pole with a little platform on the top.
Yep. Yeah.
And not all cats like to scratch vertically all the time. Some are horizontal scratches.
Okay.
So you can get cardboard planks that have got little grooves in them, and they can scratch on those. And some cats like ones that are on an incline. So you need to provide a variety, and you need to get them acclimatized to them by rubbing some of their scent from their scent glands on their cheeks and chin on a cloth, and then you rub it on the scratch pad or the pole, and it just gets them used to it. They're like, okay, this is my pole. This is great. I can use it. And then just rewarding them when they use it with, a treat, or if you're clicker training, that's a really good way to get them using it. And to make sure that the vertical poles are actually tall enough. A lot of ones I see in pet stores are very short. They go up to my knee, and that's not enough for a cat to fully stretch, because part of the satisfaction that comes from the scratching is stretching the entire muscle system through the body. So we need to make sure they're tall enough and stable enough. So those would probably be my main things.
Well, I had no idea that they like different.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'm learning. Wow.
That's good.
And also the scent gland thing too. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. It works for a lot of things. With the scent glands, you can use it to get them used to pretty much anything, like cat carriers, rubbing their scent over a new carrier, a collar, rubbing it on a collar before placing the collar on them. It just kind of marks it as theirs, and it takes away the kind of novelty of it a little bit because it smells like them.
Right. Very cool. Wow. Interesting. Talk about clicker training. You mentioned clicker training.
Yes, so clicker training is one of the most amazing tools we have in our behavioral toolbox, so to speak. It is basically a little button that you click. It's made of metal and plastic, and you can shape your animal's behavior, pretty much any animal's behavior, by getting them to learn that the click is associated with a job well done, or a treat, or praise, just something that they like that's positive. So say you're trying to train your cat not to jump on the bench. You could put a cat tower in the same room, and then when they jump on the cat tower, click, give them a treat. But you're not clicking when they jump on the bench. So they're like, okay, if I want to get a vantage point of the whole room, I can go on the tower and get food if I do it, and a good job, and I get a pat. But if I go on the bench, I just get ignored. So this one's way better.
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of people do the spray the water bottle thingy.
Yeah.
I know we got to talk about that, right?
Oh gosh, yep. It's one of the most common things that people use, and it usually results in a cat that's more anxious, and sometimes they'll end up soiling themselves because they get so stressed and scared.
Oh no.
Yeah, cats learn best by positive reinforcement. Punishment, if anything, is just going to make them regress, be more stressed, and exhibit more problem behaviors. So one of the first things I tell my clients is to put the water bowl down. It doesn't have a place in a happy cat training relationship. And it just, everyone just gets upset and annoyed. So
yeah, I've never used it.
No, I remember growing up.
Aversion therapy, right? Is that aversion therapy? Is that considered?
Yeah. It's basically where you're adding something unpleasant to reduce the chance of the problem behavior occurring again. But cats don't learn that way. They do something and they don't connect that to being sprayed with water. They just go, oh God, I got sprayed with water.
Yeah.
And then they get scared and worried. So it might make sense to us because we would associate it, but cats don't learn that way.
Yeah. Interesting. Separation anxiety. You were saying that with everybody in lockdown, some cats actually didn't like their owners being at home.
Yeah, they are creatures of habits, and when their owners are suddenly home all day after usually being gone for work from 8 till 5, it's a big change. And so some cats really don't like that. They'll go and situate themselves on another property or in the garden because they just want a bit of space. So it takes a bit of adjusting. And in cases of separation anxiety, I've seen it where people go back to work after lockdown and the cat doesn't cope from having the constant companionship all day to only seeing their owner in the morning and evening. So I'm often getting people to build up to being away for long periods of time by going to the library and reading for a couple of hours, then coming home, or even just sitting in your car doing some work for a couple of hours. So your cat actually gradually learns to cope with the change instead of just going from one extreme to the other.
Very cool. So how does that come out in a cat? Separation anxiety, similar to a dog? I mean, what are they doing when you come home? Are they wrecking the house?
Sometimes there is like furniture damage. House soiling is usually one of the most common ones. And vocalization, yowling, and over grooming is one we see as well, where they actually groom themselves to the point that they have bald patches of skin.
Yeah, I've seen that actually. It's
quite painful.
Yeah. I know in the vet practice I was in, they're actually starting to use antidepressant in cats, which I think is a little, I don't, what are your feelings on that? I don't really know too much about it. Does it work? Is it, I know they're using Prozac. They're literally, using some of the human antidepressants on cats.
Pharmaceuticals have their place for sure.
Yep.
I always say to people with any behavioral issue, you rule out a medical issue first and foremost, because pain can cause a lot of issues. And then we look at behavior modification using positive reinforcement and changes to the environment. Yep. If that isn't enough, say if the animal or cat is so anxious or so stressed that isn't enough, they might need pharmaceutical support. And in that case, I refer to a veterinary behaviorist, which is a vet who is trained in behavior. So they can prescribe drugs that are appropriate while implementing behavior modification. I don't see too much point personally in giving pharmaceutical drugs for things like stress and then not doing anything physically to help with cases of stress. It's like putting a Band-Aid on something. If you're not going to help your cat feel secure in the home, giving them pills is only going to do so much.
Yeah, great advice. I think a lot of people connect drugs and just like people turn to drugs, like when they're depressed and it's becoming, I don't know, it's not really dealing with the issue sometimes.
Yeah, they help for sure, but it's not the only tool we need to make use of. Like humans, cats are multifaceted individuals, and it's not just what we give them that changes things, it's how we allow them to interact with the world around them that makes a difference as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because, usually there's cat people and dog people and all that silliness, and I happen to love both. And always, my cats are like super friendly. They've always been, huggy and kissy, and I guess that's just part of the way you raise them, because so many people think cats are cold, and I've never seen that personally, unless maybe I go to somebody else's house. But I think cats they're great. They can just be as cuddly as dogs. And is it with the training? Is it with the raising? Is it how you interact with them? Or is every cat different? Or has it just been, maybe it's been my experience?
So every
Have
cat
I been lucky?
different.
Have I been lucky?
Yes. So every cat's different.
Okay.
There are a few components that make up how a cat's temperament is. We've got genetic, so coming from the parents, not just how the parents were living at the time that the queen was pregnant, that can influence the kitten's temperament, which is insane. It's amazing. And then we've also got socialization in that key period when they're really, really young. So before they leave their mum, that 2 to 7 weeks, that is a key socialization period. So if they don't have positive interactions with people in that time, or say the mum has negative ones and tries to get the babies away from people, that'll shape them for the rest of their life. And so some cats will have a very high threshold for sociability, hanging with people, hanging with other animals, getting up all close and personal. Whereas other cats, they take a bit longer, or they might just have a lower threshold that we need to respect, because they can't control where they were raised or how they were raised. All we can do is give them the best now and respect their autonomy, which I think is really important with cats, because they thrive on control. If they don't have a control of the situation, you're going to end up with a very unhappy cat.
That's the truth.
Yeah. They're like us. They're closer to people than dogs are. And
I was
that's
going to
what
say,
people
they really
always
are.
praise me out. They're like, oh, cats are so standoffish. I'm like, they're like people. They, you know, they don't like someone coming up and being like, give me attention now. They want to, you know, get to know you first, or go, I want to talk to you, not the other way around, which is fair enough.
So true. So true. So give some advice to somebody who's never owned a cat. Like, tell me a little bit about the process, how you recommend like a new cat person to...
I always say to people, if they've never had a cat before, fostering is an amazing way to get an understanding of what living with a cat is like. And also you get to meet a variety of cats. So you get a variety of personalities, play requirements, grooming requirements, and you're also helping them while they're going to find a new home. And more often than not, someone ends up with a foster fail. They end up keeping them. You would know all too well. Yeah, that was like my last cat. I could not let him go. Yeah. I'd fostered hundreds of kittens, and I was just like, nope, this one I have to keep. So I often tell people with any animal, especially cats, fostering is an amazing way to get to know what living with a cat is like. And the rescue groups are so supportive. They give you all the tools you need and all the information, and they, you know, organize all the vet visits and everything. So everything's kind of done for you, and all you really need to do is give, you know, that time and that love and the care that these cats need, and then go from there. They'll probably end up keeping one of them, to be honest.
Probably.
Yeah,
for sure. I've foster failed a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine most sanctuary places. You end up going, we're just a couple of months, and then it's 5 years later.
Yeah, definitely worse since I've come out here on 30 acres and have no neighbors.
Oh my
and
gosh,
don't have to worry about the, you know, about any kind of housing issues or anything, you know. Yeah. But and do you think it's good to get two cats? Is one cat sufficient enough? Like, you know, sometimes it's good to have when they have company, or does it not matter with cats?
It comes down to the individual cat and also the environment. Some cats will have like a bonded friend, like a litter mate, or say if they've been at a shelter and they've been living with another cat and they've got close together and they bring out the best in one another. I think it's good to keep them together. And especially if you are someone who spends a lot of time out of the house, I think it's good to have, especially young cats, to have someone to play with, just to keep that mind active and to keep them occupied. Some older cats don't take well to a new cat being introduced, but if you're getting cats off the bat and you haven't got any at home, I usually tell people to get two that are bonded, because it just allows them to be a cat more often. They are our friends, but they are cats first and foremost, and they need another cat to feed off and interact with.
Yeah, I think so too. I've always had at least two. It definitely makes a big difference. Litter box training. Everybody's always like, how do they use it? Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a very common issue, ranging from not using it to going just outside the litter box, or they won't use it if it's in certain parts of the house.
Yeah.
One of the most common spots people put them in is the laundry, which for us it's good because it's out of sight, out of mind. But for cats, it's not ideal because it's a small space. It's usually placed in the corner of the room, so they haven't got anywhere to go. Say if a predator was to come up to them, because primarily they're animals of survival. They're not going to go to the toilet where they feel like they're cornered or boxed in. And the laundry is also very loud. You've got the washing machine and the dryer. It's not the most calm and serene space. So often cats will go somewhere else they think is more appropriate for them, which isn't where we want them to go. So it's definitely a strategic planning of where to place them and how big and what filler to use and things like that.
Yeah, filler can be an issue too, right?
There's been a few studies showing that a sand-like texture is the most preferred around cats.
Okay.
And I always tell people to try and avoid scented litters because a cat's olfactory senses are so much stronger than ours. If you think you can smell a lavender scented litter tray, you could imagine how strong that is to a cat. And some cats are fine with it. Some people have had no trouble using scented litter. But I always say to people, if you've got a cat that's sensitive or new and you don't know what their preference is, start off with something that's sand-like and not scented. And if that's good for you, stick to that. But if the cat's already used to a particular type of litter, keep to it. They're very preferential. They don't like to suddenly chop and change every time something's on special at the supermarket.
I've tried that with those pine pellet thingies. They did not.
Yeah, they can actually get stuck between the paw pads. I've heard of a couple of cases where they've actually got stuck, and so I don't recommend them anymore. I used to really like it, but some cats don't like the feeling of it going between the paw pads. So I no longer recommend it just from that.
I tried it once. It didn't work out very well. And also just changing it drastically. I mean, I found
changing it all the time is usually a recipe for disaster.
Definitely. Let's talk about cats that don't pee in the litter box, because I know can sometimes be a huge issue.
So with cats that are inside and they're peeing outside the litter box, I usually get people to discern whether it's urinating or actually spraying, like marking territory, because it's quite different. If they're urinating outside the litter box, my first thing is to check, are you cleaning the boxes enough? Especially if your cat's primarily indoors, you need to be cleaning it morning and night, ideally. And if it's a multi-cat household, the general rule is 1 litter box per cat plus another one, because some cats don't like to share. And I know some cats like to pee in one and then poop in the other. It always makes me laugh. They're like, this is for this, this is for this. Again, location is very important. And also adjusting the litter box as the cat ages. If you've got a cat with severe arthritis and you've got a high-sided litter box, it's going to be very hard for them to walk in. And then if it's small and they have to squat down and they're sore, they're probably going to want to go somewhere that's got more room so they don't feel as restricted. So there's a few factors to think about.
Excuse me. How do people reach you? Like if I wanted to get a consult, what do I do?
So you can head to my website. It is thecatcounselor.com, or I am quite active on Instagram. My handle is @thecatcounselor. And the easiest way is just to click on book now, and then it will take you down and you can click on there, and then I'll see you on Zoom and go from there.
Everybody's doing Zoom nowadays. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, everyone is doing Zoom.
It's certainly changed. So 30 minutes, $50, 60 minutes, 90. Is that still accurate? And that's
so that's in New Zealand. So it's New Zealand. So it'll be USD will be cheaper. So it's in New Zealand currency.
Okay, very cool. You're vegan?
Yeah, I've been vegan 9 years now.
Yeah. Okay, wow, very nice. Tell me a little bit about your journey to veganism. What prompted you to?
Well, growing up, I was always a big animal lover. My parents lament to me often that we'd spend all our summer holidays going to animal parks, and I always got told off for bringing animals home and, all that thing, and begging for more pets. And I went vegetarian when I was, I think, 13. And in New Zealand, our animal agriculture industry is huge. It's one of our biggest exports. So it took a while for some of my family members to come around to just the vegetarian thing. People were worried that I was going to be malnourished, all that usual stuff. And then by chance, I watched a behind the scenes video 9 years ago of the dairy and egg industry. And it was just like something just lit up inside me. I was like, oh my goodness, how did I not know this was going on? And I went vegan overnight. It just
would have the same experience. That's so funny.
So it just completely flipped my switch, so to speak. I woke up I guess that's the only real way to describe it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
it's been great. I feel so good to be aligned with my values, and I really feel like doing animal advocacy. I feel like I'm speaking my truth, and I'm actually walking the talk by being vegan, which is always nice. And vegan baking is so much fun. I love it.
Vegan baking, yay!
Yeah.
So you like are you a big baker?
Yeah, I bake most weeks. If I could have it my way, I'd be baking every day, but we'd run out of room and we couldn't eat it all. So I do baking for
side
food
hustle, maybe
well.
baker and cat counselor.
I don't know if I'd have time. If I had more hours in the day, I probably would. But
well, it's good that you're busy then, right?
Yeah. No, it's been fantastic. It's been
good.
Really nice, warm reception to the whole concept of feline behavioral management, which has been very nice. It's been good.
Very cool. What's your favorite thing to bake?
Oh goodness, I'm a sucker for brownies and cookies.
Yeah, me too.
I love them. So good.
Yeah.
I do make a mean cake. I make cakes for birthdays and things like that. So
cool.
I'm the go-to cake person for my family.
That's good too. So did most of your family make the connection, or is it
no,
like
just me. Just me. Yeah.
Typical.
My mom's sort of vegetarian.
Okay.
She eats like cheese and gels and things, but the rest of my family just eats the meat and 3 vegetable kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Everyone has their own journey, and it helps my partner's vegan, so
good.
that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, we can relate, sure. So I forgot what I was just going to ask you. I'm thinking about it's always an issue with families and veganism, and I remember I don't know, you said you saw the documentary on the dairy industry, and I remember Mercy for Animals. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yeah.
They show the life of each different animal on a factory farm. They start with like pigs, down the line. And I had been vegetarian, and they used to have it was called Meat Video, and it took me about 2 weeks to get through it. And I don't know why. Prior to that, I thought the animals were running around in fields, and not that killing them made any different, but I had no clue how horrific it was.
That was me.
Just overnight.
It's crazy how much of it is hidden. I mean, now with the internet, it's everywhere, but there's a reason that's hidden. And especially in where I am in New Zealand, because it makes up such a huge part of the economic system. It's crazy how more of it isn't out in the open when you think about how much of our country runs or is dependent on it, and there's very little public images that aren't,
interesting.
Staged or
do you guys have a lot of activists out there who do their stuff?
Yeah, we do. We've actually, this documentary has actually just come out called Milt, that was co-produced by an activist that I know, Chris Hurawai, and they just released a documentary about the dairy industry here in New Zealand.
Cool.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Is it available online, or?
I think it's at film festivals and screening, but I don't know if it's available online yet. I can have a look and send it to you.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Our country is small, but very dedicated activists and animal rescue groups.
You guys do a lot of like the sheep stuff, right? There's a lot of trees.
Yeah, wool industries, big here, wool and dairy.
Yeah. It's I'm hoping it'll change one day. And what I find interesting, since we've both been in the veterinary nurse and in that setting, is how many veterinarians are not vegan, how many of the vet techs and the vet nurses are not, and I never understood it. I was literally the only vegan in a pretty decent amount of a pretty decent group, and the disconnect to me sometimes, it's really strange, right?
It's really odd. I remember distinctly when I was at university for vet nursing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, and I bet you half the class, or it's gonna be at least vegetarian or something. No, I was the only one, and I was shocked. I was like, how can you dedicate your your livelihood to helping animals, but at the same time, your meals don't
Love one,
reflect
eat
that.
another, right? It's crazy.
No, yeah. So when I started working, it was the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
A couple of people were vegetarian. I think I know one vegan nurse, after 10 years. So
Wow.
it's huge disconnection. And I'm not sure how that's going to change in the veterinary industry. I feel like people are more aware of what's happening in animal agriculture, but I don't feel like it's shifting.
No.
Here anyway, I haven't noticed it shifting.
Yeah, because I mean, you have to do a large animal rotation when you're in school, right? And that's typically about eating them as opposed to caring for them to, keep as
stock,
companion.
basically.
It's all about keeping them healthy and
for a reason.
Yeah.
For a reason. Yeah. When I was at uni, I was like, there's no way I'm going to do large animal because I think it'll just destroy me.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Mentally.
Sure.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Gosh. What else should we talk about? Did I miss anything?
Oh, tell me about your cats. I'm curious.
My kitties.
Yeah, tell me. I love hearing about people's cats.
It's interesting. I had 5 at one point, and it was so challenging. I used to, I have a pretty big Instagram following, and I used to just tell people I do not get more than 2, like 2 cats. The second, like you and I talked about it earlier, that third cat, that dynamic changes, and 5 was so challenging. The amount of litter boxes, number one, is crazy, right? And at that point, this was, 15 years ago at this point, probably. And I was just learning that each one had to have their own litter box, so we had like 2 litter boxes, and you can imagine what a disaster that was, right? And then the fighting, and I mean, it was literally everything you can imagine that many cats would do together. That was my everyday challenge. It wasn't easy.
No, but 5 is a lot.
So now I got 2. One who I've had way back from that time. She's the last kitty left from that group, and a 2-year-old who we rescued 2 years ago. He was a little tiny thing that somebody found under their porch. So we named him Tofu. So Tofu and Penelope. He's a tuxedo, and she's kind of like a brindle mix. And
beautiful.
They never got along. They still bat each other, but they they'll eat together. They they'll tolerate each other.
Yeah.
The one cat, Tofu, the little one, is with me all day, and then the other one is with me all night in the bed. So that's how they kind of break up their time.
Do they go out into, where all your other animals are located, or are they indoors?
They're just indoor. The Tofu will sneak out like the back area sometimes, and he'll run back in after a couple minutes. At the front door, I mean, we've got pigs that come right to the front door, so he'll be peeking out, looking at them, and the pigs look at him like, what is this?
Yeah.
But he's very curious about them. But no, none of them go outside. Too many flying. They'd probably get taken by an eagle or something, I would imagine.
Oh, wow. Yeah. In New Zealand, cats are primarily allowed outside access, so it's quite interesting talking to people overseas, especially in places like the States where you've got like coyotes and
coyotes too. Gosh,
yeah. So we don't have that here. The only animal that would really cause a threat, two animals that cause a threat to cats, are dogs and humans. So, like road traffic accidents or going onto a property with a dog. But a lot of people let their cats outside. It's very normalized here.
Oh, cool. I imagine they like to go outside too. You don't have to be as busy with your litter box, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think that's part of the appeal for people is it's less maintenance for them because their cat's going outdoors. I'm always telling people to have a litter box inside anyway, especially if you're in suburbia, because you've got a lot of cats' territories overlapping. And a lot of cats aren't comfortable going to the toilet while there's another cat around the corner waiting to grab them or
just
chat
like
with
us.
them. Yeah, so I tell them have a toilet inside for them, just so they have the option to feel safe, somewhere safe to go. But most people let them outside because it's less work.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be kind of nice sometimes. But yeah, no, these guys are indoor. And too, gosh, so much easier, Molly, so much easier. Oh gosh, so let me go down the list and see who's here. I've ignored everybody that's watching tonight. Hello, Richard. How are you? Richard, thank you for joining Patreon. I'm so grateful. Who else is here? Richard says he has a friend that has a cat that thinks it's a dog because he was raised by a dog.
Yeah, I've seen things like that. Cats that were raised with some huskies and they would try and howl. It's hilarious. I loved it. It's really funny.
That's funny. That's so funny. Elizabeth. I haven't seen Elizabeth in a while. I'm trying to read everybody. I got my contacts in, so I got to get a little closer. So Elizabeth is a mom of a 18-year-old gray tabby and a 10-year-old Savannah, and they're so loving. They sleep with them every night. Yay.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Savannahs are beautiful. They're beautiful cats.
I don't know if we actually have any here.
No Savannahs?
I don't think so. We've got Bengals.
No, Bengals. I think they're similar, right? Yeah, I think they're
sort of.
Yeah. Probably completely different breed, and I'm saying they're similar, right?
They are completely different breed, but people get them for similar reasons, for the aesthetic and the independentness. Yeah,
sure. Ruth, hey Ruth. Ruth says hello. Everybody says hello. And hey Wilma, how are you? She's happy you're vegan because she's here in Florida, so we're used to like our techs not being vegan and stuff like that.
Nice change. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Robin, how are you? I'm sure my uncle has 3. Oh, okay. 3 kitties. Yeah, that's one too many we talked about. And Valentina, yeah, so we have some volunteers. They just got a cat recently, right? They adopted a 1.5-year-old cat 2 months ago, and they have a 12-year-old dog. Mm-hmm. They've slowly been introducing them through the screen door.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to have slow introductions. Yeah. One of the older methods that people still use today is it's called flooding, where you kind of force the animal to deal with whatever thing you're trying to acclimatize them to by putting them in a cage and then putting them in the lounge where the dog is or the other cat is. Mm. And then they kind of just leave the animal to deal with it, which is still recommended by some people, which
really? Wow.
Kind of freaks me out a little bit. But it's just lack of education. So slow introductions through screen door, swapping of scents, that chin and cheek gland before, covering things, clicker training as well, getting both animals to associate being in vicinity to the other with fun, a game or treats. Mm-hmm. Just making whenever they interact or are near the other animal, it's a positive experience. Yeah. And we're keeping everyone safe by having that screen door and then slowly less barriers.
Yeah. What's the typical timeline? Is there a timeline, or is it just however?
There isn't a set one, no. Okay. Some cats can join a home with a dog and they're fine after a week. Others, it's a couple of months to 5 months. So it just depends. Like us, they're all different, and some cats have never been socialized with a dog, or they've had a bad experience with a dog. So it takes a while. And if you've got a dog who's got like a high prey drive, that's also a thing you need to be mindful of as well. It's just the safety. Oh, you said it's the dog that's the issue. Okay. Well, the dog, I can't really tell you too much about that, but I would be saying supervise interactions only and keeping them on a lead for a while. Super high play drive. Yeah. So that's where clicker training would be really good, to keep their attention focused on you versus the cat. And they'll be scared a bit from him. Oh, poor baby. Yeah. Aww. Valentine, if you're patient and just take your time and introduce some sort of games for both animals, I think that'll go a long way, keeping them both occupied.
Yeah, we're on a 10-second delay, so I'll give it a couple seconds in case anybody has. If you have any questions for Molly, feel free to join in. Let me just do this. Okay. Did I cover everything? I think we got everything.
We've talked cats, we've talked veganism, we've talked the weather. We've done all, the holy trinity of topics.
Do you guys have any farm sanctuaries out there?
We do, yeah. We have a few. There's one closest to me is actually called the Farm Sanctuary. It's up about an hour north of where I live. Okay. And then there's a few dotted out down the country. New Zealand's very small compared to the States. So we have a few sanctuaries, but they're scattered about. So they're really struggling at the moment with lack of volunteers with COVID, because a lot of the people that would volunteer at the sanctuary are traveling people who come over for their OEs and things like that. So yeah, a lot of them are struggling at the moment with just getting the support they need. But
is it a donation thing too?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to get more of the sanctuaries on Patreon, because you guys are on Patreon, and I sponsor a few sanctuaries on Patreon. But I think a lot of people here as well, it's just the economy. Like, a lot of people don't have money to spare. That's why things like Patreon are so good, because you can donate $1 a month.
You can donate $1, sure.
Yeah, and it adds up. So I'm always telling people with sanctuaries is get on Patreon, because even if you have 20 people donating, $5 a month, that's going to cover a decent amount of food. So,
for sure.
Yeah,
it's those small donations. They really add up. We always
add up, and it's so easy. You just click and you're done, and you don't notice it. I've had to rein in how many sanctuaries I sponsor, but it's so easy, and it's nice to know you're helping even when you can't physically go and help. It's really nice.
Yeah, I always tell people, if all of my followers donated $1 a month, it would be incredible.
Yeah, the work you could do would be, even more amazing if more people.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah. So we have some sanctuaries here, and they're really amazing. The people just go above and beyond for these animals, and a lot of these animals have just been, failed by the people that are supposed to care for them. Or we have a lot of battery hens here in New Zealand. So some of the rescue groups and sanctuaries do the battery hen rescues.
Yeah, sure.
So I've helped out with one of them. It was a bit of a harrowing experience, seeing some of the injuries.
It's pretty sad.
But, it's nice to see these chickens living out their lives and, in heaven with their friends, and they're allowed to be chickens. And it's worth it.
Yeah. Do you guys have a lot of pigs over there? I don't know typically what is it a lot of pig rescue?
Yeah. Not so much rescue. We do have some sanctuaries of pigs, which is good, but I think it's quite difficult to get pigs from these organizations that are raising them for meat. The most common way that rescues procure these animals is through your local buy and sell groups, where someone's selling a pig for someone to have a butcher come visit them and process them. So that's probably where a lot of the animals come from. I notice a lot of cows get rescued that way.
A lot of cows, yeah. Okay. And sheep, I would imagine, or no?
Yeah, sheep. We have a lot of sheep that are kept for wool. It's another big export here in New Zealand.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, here we're in a crisis with pigs because of the mini pig myth, and pet pigs are a big thing right now. And it is just, oh gosh, Molly, I can't even tell you. I probably get 5 phone calls a day to take a pig.
Oh my goodness, that must be so hard to wrangle.
Yeah,
and
it's a major crisis too. Every sanctuary in the U.S. is like to capacity with pigs. It's out of control. It's just out of control. Yeah, I pet pigs.
They're awesome.
They're awesome. They're
so
awesome.
smart, and I think they have such a resilience about them that they can go through so much and still have so much love to give afterwards. We can learn a lot from them.
Do you guys have a pet pigs out there? Do they have that issue at all?
We do have pet pigs. It's not the fat of the mini pigs isn't as big here as it is in the States and the UK. Okay. I know in the UK it's really bad as well.
The UK. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Last time I was there, which was quite a while ago now, I went to a sanctuary that was near my grandparents' place, and they had about 8 pigs, and 7 of them were people who had got a miniature pig for Christmas or birthday, and then it kept growing. Surprise, surprise. So we do have a few here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. We do have a few here, people who have lifestyle blocks. I don't know what they call them in the States, but it's like a miniature farm, kind of. You got a couple of acres.
Okay,
land.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so people will have a couple of pigs, and then they're like, okay, actually these pigs keep growing, and we need to get better fencing to keep them contained, and you know, all those things that some people just don't know about or don't think about. So they end up needing to rehome the pigs, and they don't always go to people that are gonna look after them in their best interest.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, on that note, it was so great to have you on the show. It was great to meet you. I learned a lot tonight.
I'm glad. It's been really fun. I really did.
Yeah, it was great getting to know you. I know that Tiffany put up the links on how people can reach you, and I guess you're global, right? You're Zoom.
Yeah. So I have clients all over the world, which is really nice because I get to meet all walks of people, and it's just I learn something new from every case, which is really good.
Yeah, that's good.
I see Elizabeth has a question.
Oh, okay. Go for it. You take over.
My question is... So, Elizabeth, I would first look at ruling out any medical issues. With cats that are 18-year-old, which is, reasonably old, there can be a cognitive decline, so the brain function isn't as well as it used to be. So you'll get some cats where they've got their hearing's diminished or their vision's diminished. And so they'll be vocalizing to kind of be like, oi, something isn't right, or can you please assist me with this? Or it could be something like anxiety. So I would rule out a medical issue and then look at introducing lots of things that encourage a sense of calm. There are plug-in diffusers you can use, like Fellaway, I think you have it in the States, and I recommend that for any cats that are exhibiting vocalizations, and it just helps reduce anxiety. And making sure that your cat's needs are all met. Oh, she's got lymphoma as well. Okay, yeah. So I would check as well that she's not in any discomfort from the lymphoma as well. A lot of vocalizing can come from pain and discomfort. So that's what I would rule out first.
I think Nancy has a question. I don't want to trapped, neutered, and home 9 cats and kittens last year. Woo! Of course, I ended up keeping 2. So now I have 5. Oh boy, I've been there. The male takes his toys, drowns them in the water, and drops them all over.
Oh, that's so funny.
Is he really drowning them? And she's also vegan.
I've heard of, so cats can play with their food. Mother cats will bring semi-live prey into the den where their kittens are and train them, and they learn how to hunt that way. So you could just be doing something like playing with it. He might like the splashing noise it makes when it drops into the water, and then it just adds another tactile experience. I don't personally think cats have the capacity to be like, I'm going to drown someone. So I wouldn't be too worried about your cat becoming, like Mr. Sinister overnight. I think it's just more like an enrichment thing. He just enjoys it. So I would look at adding more water play, see if he enjoys having a shallow pool or something. If he enjoys the water, adding some more enrichment might make him feel extra special.
Yeah. Wow. definitely. Kiddie pools. Do cats really not like water, or because I know like tigers like the water?
Don't like it, but some cats really do. Cats like Bengals or Turkish Vans, they can often swim. If you go on YouTube, you can search up Surfer Cat Mav, and that's a cat that actually goes paddleboarding with their owners. So yeah, some of them do. Yeah, it's not as common, but yeah, some cats do like the water.
Very cool. London getting in and stepping out.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
All right. Any last questions for Molly? I'm counting 10, 9, 8, 7. All right. Molly, thank you so much for being on tonight. We'll be in touch. I'm following you now on social media. Thank you for the great advice. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show. It was great to.
No worries. Thank you for having me. Yeah. It's been real fun.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Cool.
Afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Wow. I learned a lot tonight. Gosh. How's everybody doing tonight? All right. I'm going to use my final minutes. How much time do I have, Tiffany? I got a couple minutes. So tomorrow, guys, Giving Tuesday. It is, if you're following us on Facebook, we've got our Giving Tuesday fundraiser up. For those of you who might just be watching the show tonight, we're rescuing 4 death row pigs from California. Our friends at Saving Animals and Healing Hearts pulled 4 piggies that were in really terrible situations. If we've got the description in our Giving Tuesday fundraiser on Facebook, and we also have the same fundraiser on the littlebearsanctuary.org website. So it gives you guys a lot of different options to donate. It's a huge endeavor. It's costing us it's a big amount of money. The transport alone is $4,200. The piggies we just heard today, the piggies are getting picked up on Monday, Tuesday. So yesterday, if you guys check out Facebook and Goldylocks YouTube, we got to meet the 4 piggies and hear their stories. And gosh, they're so cute. They've been through so much. We really need everybody's help. A $1 or $5 donation from our followers. Imagine if everybody donated $5. It would truly, it would really help us out. Our break even on this rescue is upwards of 7,000, and we're not even there yet. I don't even think we've hit the halfway point, but we're like around 40. We've got enough to cover the transport. So vet bills, guys, the California vet bill is going to be crazy. Blood work, health certificates, tagging the animals. And then here we've got to spay and neuter them. So that's going to be, Terry's out in San Diego. The vet costs out in California are crazy. They're literally 10 times more than what we pay here at the sanctuary. So if you guys can donate $1, donate $5, we could really use the help. So yeah, 4 little piggies coming here. One of them, we posted a little video. Runner, he was found by the police running around in Riverside, California, and he went to the Riverside shelter. Really high kill shelter. We were able to pull him and get him to safety, and a couple other piggies with some gosh, I don't even want to talk about it because it really brought tears to our eyes yesterday. A few of them were rescued from someone's backyard, and really terrible intentions for these piggies, but they are safe. Terry Crutchfield has them safe and in her sanctuary out in California. And Monday's the big day, guys. So I'm super excited. They're finally going to come here. It took us a long time to find transport. We're hoping to reach 10 grand. I know it's a lot of money. So Giving Tuesday, the way it works, Facebook matches the first $8 million that gets donated at 8 a.m. Eastern time Tuesday. So tomorrow at 8 a.m., if you do want to make a donation and try for us to get a match, you got to be ready to go, like have it set up, and you got to literally hit that button at exactly 8 a.m. The money, the 8 million is gone in a minute. It's literally, it goes so quick. A lot of these big $1 million organizations end up getting it first because they have so many followers. So, you know, if you guys want to set that alarm clock and be ready, it'll be fun. See if we get a match this year. So yeah, videos are up. Again, it's our Facebook. It's Giving Tuesday fundraiser, and yeah, I can't wait to have the piggies here, and we'll do a landing video when they get here and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Next Monday, one of our favorite guests of all time, Chef David, is going to be here next Monday, and we always have a lot of fun together. A really good friend of mine for a long time, and I forgot what he's cooking. I think he's going to be doing acorn squash for the holiday, so a stuffed acorn squash. And I think what I'm going to try to do, I hope I've let me see, do I give me one second. All right, so I'm sorry guys. Yeah, so Chef David next Monday, he doesn't know it yet, but I think what we're going to try to do is actually cook together. So I'm going to try to make the acorn squash with him, and I think we had good reception tonight. Did we have good reception tonight, everybody? I don't even know. I forgot to ask. I didn't want to stress about it. I hope the image was clear tonight. And anyway, I had a lot of fun tonight. Thank you, Molly, for being my guest tonight. Really enjoyed it. I'll see everybody next week. And yeah, good night, everybody. Good night. This is Chris Vane signing out. And remember, peace begins on your plate. Love you guys.
Don't want the fun to end? Grab more refreshments. Then head over to the Goldylocks Productions YouTube channel. With the huge selection of shows, the fun doesn't have to end.